Bias Mike, messing with more music. So, I've sold my Spark 40 amp. It was a great amp. It really had wonderful sound, tremendous number of features for learning, and I still have a lot of learning to do on the guitar. But my primary interest in it was to be able to interface it with my Ableton Live 11 apps for doing music studio work. I wanted to be able to have all those great guitar sounds that Positive Grid provides and be able to use them easily inside of my studio work in the Ableton 11 app. This was not the case with the Positive Grid, the way that it was set up. In fact, there seemed to be some buzzing when trying to connect the amp to the computer and get the sound to come into this. It also required me to go through a different layer rather than come into my Focusrite integration that I use. So I needed software. I wasn't getting the value out of the amp. The other reason for that amp was to be able to use it as a traveling amp, but it was too big. I couldn't stick this in my suitcase and take it with me on my worldwide adventures. So I sold it on eBay, and I sold it for a good penny. I actually sold it for more than I paid for it because I bought it on sale. So I took that money and I bought something else from Positive Grid, Bias FX2 software, which gives me over 100 amps to play with, as well as having access to the cloud. And the sound cloud's got just tremendous amounts of capability. Everything I could possibly want is up there somehow. So how does it interface with the Ableton Live 11? That's what I'm going to give you a look at here today. I'm doing a screen capture that will show us how the Ableton Live 11 and Bias FX2 work together. Now to start off, I'm going to use my Traveler guitar, which is my go-to guitar for studio work because it just fits into this whole very small studio setup I've got. I've got my Gibson over here, the Les Paul, so I can use that when I really want to get serious about getting great sound down. But this captures the analog input of the guitar, which I can then use with the Ableton app to bend it to my every need. So let's try this. If I'm in. So now you should be able to hear what I'm about to play as it's processed through the Bias FX2. And let's take a look at what we're using. I'm using this setup called Acoustic Like, which is using a splitter and 2 different flat acoustic amps. And I could never set something like this up myself, but set up by the experts of Positive Grid, I've got a really cool setup for handling acoustic sound. Let's hear what it sounds like. Okay, so that gives you an idea of the primary sound that I was looking for when I was recording this lick. Now, I don't need to use the guitar because now I've got this captured in my Ableton app right here, and I can go to auto and you can hear me play this same thing back. Use my fancy keyboard interface. Stop that off. So, Acoustic Like, one of many favorites that I've selected as I've gone through and reviewed all the different sounds that are in all these different genres. There's so many, and then we can of course go to the cloud as well, and we can find even more. But let's just take a listen to a couple of the favorites. If I go to Easy Blues, which is the next one, you'll hear an immediate difference in what this setup sounds like. Different sound, good sound. Is it what I'm looking for the shape of the song I'm working on? I can listen to as many different versions of this as I need to until I find what I'm looking for. Great Playboy 1965 is a very cool one. Yeah, I like that one very much. I think you get the idea. I could go on forever, right? I've got all these different sounds. Misty Mountains is pretty. I can adjust the volume on the input side, bring it down so if it's starting to crack a little, bring it down and adjust it. You can adjust things like reverb on the fly. You can dial this thing down to exactly the sound you're looking for. So for me, this was the answer. This was definitely what I was looking for out of all this. Now, comedy is got a place in my life everywhere you look. So just as soon as I sold my Spark 40 amp on eBay for a pretty good penny, and bought the Bias FX2 and bragged to my wife that I'd actually saved money for once, and I'd actually spent less money than I originally had planned on, and got something that was even better for my purposes, doggone, Positive Grid came out with, well, I have announced the Spark Mini, which instead of being a big 40 watt amp is a small cube of a 10 watt amp with all the same capabilities and battery powered. So I could stick it in my bag and take it with me on the road. So guess who got another order from Mike Messes with Music? And I will be reviewing that when I get it. They say I'll get it in May. We'll see. But altogether, Positive Grid, I love you. You're doing a great job on the software, on the hardware, the equipment. The fact that I sold my Positive Grid Spark 40 has nothing to do with its quality. It was a great instrument and has a great purpose. And I've bought a replacement for it that's a little bit better suited for my traveling needs. But Bias FX2 is perfectly suited to my studio needs. So I'm a very happy user of this software, and I'm going to continue working with it until I can really start to produce some music that you guys want to listen to. So please subscribe to my channel. I'm really looking forward to coming up with more things, and remember to follow so that when I come up with more things, it pop up in your inbox, and you know that you've got something fun that I've got to share with you. So more coming soon. Subscribe to my channel and keep messing with music. Bye for now.